Hey guys, it's Ace Gamer 5000 here on Royal Flush Gaming HG. I'm here with my good friend that is Spencer, Ruben the Lightsworn Dueler, King Peace Killer, and Queen of Pandas.
Meow.
Okay, we're going to do a quick card explanation. We're going to teach you how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And what different cards mean. So let's get started. So, first off, we have Monster. Monsters are like what you use to attack other people and take down their life points. Life points are basically the essential to say like, oh hey, this person won the game. So the attack right there is how much they would take if they were hit directly, or how much you'd be going against another person's monster with. The defense is for when it's in a different position, and it's basically saying like how much it's defending your life with. So now we're going to go on to these stars here. These stars are called levels. A monster can only be in between the levels of 4 and 1 for you to just normal summon it, like there, it's summoned. And then we have the attribute. The attribute is, it's not always important to know what the attribute is, but
in the case of heroes,
in case of like decks like Mass Heroes, you have to. Then we have right there where it says rock, that's the type. Every monster has like its own typing, except for tokens. Tokens are just summoned by effect.
They don't have attack or defense, just depends on the effect of.
Next to where it says rock, we have, it says effect, that means this monster is an effect monster. Non-effect monsters look like this.
Just italicized descriptions.
They're called vanilla.
Vanilla.
It's the flavor text.
We have Geminis. What? Geminis, I believe you have to normal summon them twice to activate their effect.
Yes.
But if you don't normal summon it the second time, it's just a normal monster.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Gemini is.
I thought it was both.
No. Then we have level 5 and 6 monsters. Level 5 and 6 monsters, you have to at least tribute one monster to summon them. One normal monster, or
One monster.
yeah, one monster. Then we have tuners. Tuners are used to synchro summon, and synchro summoning we'll go into a little bit later. We have level 7 or higher. Those you have to tribute 2 or more monsters,
But most
depending
of the time, if it's like higher than level 8, it's just like
Special.
the effect just says you need 3.
Yeah. Then we have ritual monsters.
Antigodia.
Ritual monsters have to be summoned using a ritual spell card, which you can tell by the symbol next to there where it says spell card.
It's a little fire.
For rituals.
Like when you dance around it with your Indian mask and go. That's the sound you have to make every time you ritual summon. If you don't, then it doesn't count.
Oh no, he's ritual summoning!
Because in a cross deck, you kind of have to drink a little bit.
Then we have the extra deck. The extra deck is where you keep some
Extra
of your
cards.
your stronger monsters.
The extra
Pretty
deck
much-
has a limit of 15 cards, and it consists of 3 types of monsters: fusion monsters, synchro monsters, and XYZ monsters.
Or Xyz monsters if you like to be PC, except no one likes PC.
XYZ monsters are special because they don't have level, they have rank instead. They cannot be used for the summoning of synchro monsters or other
XYZ.
XYZ monsters unless an effect specifically says so.
Other monsters just work as other monsters.
Synchro monsters must be summoned by using 2 or more tuners, or whatever is in the card description. For example, it says one tuner
one
and
tuner,
one or
one
more
non-
non-tuner monsters.
Not
The
here.
tuners must equal the level of the 2 tuners levels must equal the level of the synchro monster. For example, if you were to do Phantom King High Ride and Elemental Hero Neo Alias, you would be able to synchro summon for a level 7, such as Black Rose of the Moonlight Dragon. Fusion monsters are summoned with cards such as Polymerization, Dark Fusion, or
Miracle Fusion.
Miracle Fusion. Other cards let you fusion summon from the deck by other effects, such as monsters being destroyed. These are very special cases, and you hardly see it. Basically, refer to card effects.
Because, effects are everything in this game.
Also, with Masked Heroes, you use Mask Change.
Because, considering that's another song.
Next off, we're going to go on to spell cards. Spell cards.
Or magic cards if you're really into this game.
They used to be called Magic cards, but because of copyright reasons, they changed the spelling.
Lawsuits.
Thank you, Magic. So first we have the normal spell card. How you tell it's a normal spell card is would be no symbol next to where it says spell card.
Oh, how do I know if it's not a normal spell card?
Well, if you
That's a terrible segue.
How do you know if it's not a normal spell card? Is it'll have different symbols, such as this one. It's a quick play spell card because it has like a lightning bolt next to it. Then there's equip cards where it has that plus next to it.
It's like a cross, such as the Knights Templar who had crosses on their armor, which they would equip to themselves so they didn't die.
Basically, in a sense, it's exactly as it seems. You equipped it to a monster to make them more powerful.
Why
The effect applies from the monster's equip spell.
Not in most cases, equip cards, if the monster leaves, the equip card just stays there inactive.
These are field
That's
spell
Texas
cards.
otherwise.
These help boost all your monsters' attacks and cause effects throughout the whole entire field. How you tell is they'll have a plus right there that is a little more sharp than equip card.
plenty.
And even if you play it in the wrong
more
spot,
pointy.
even if you play it in the wrong spot, people are gonna be like, that doesn't go there.
There's a special zone called the field spell zone at the top left-hand corner of the field.
Right above the extra deck.
We'll go into that later.
Lastly, for spell cards, we have the continuous spell card.
Everyone hates this.
Those are an infinity symbol, thus hinting at the continuousness.
They stay on the field unless they're taken off the field by their own effects or
force.
by cards
Other
such
card
as
effects.
MST.
MST is referring to Mystical Space Typhoon. It is commonly used because Mystical Space Typhoon is too long to use in the heat of battle. So, we use that.
In the heat of the moment.
Shut up!
Next off, we got trap cards.
Stop, Jack.
We have normal trap cards,
activated
which
my trap card.
also have no symbol next to the name that says trap card in the top.
How do I
right-hand
know it's not a
part of
normal
it.
trap card?
Because it has a little symbol.
Because they have little symbols. This is a continuous trap card. It stays on the field unless taken off by its own effect or a card like MST once again. Basically the same as other spell cards. But trap cards need to be face down for one whole turn before you can activate them.
Or until the end of your turn.
Yeah. Then we have counter trap cards. Counter trap cards basically used to counter. They will counter other cards such as Solemn Warning when a monster would be summoned or a spell card or a spell or trap card would be activated or a monster's effect. So, say I activate Prohibition, someone could chain a Solemn Warning to
Doesn't.
destroy it.
Doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No,
it
no,
doesn't.
it's
It
only when
only
it's
works
special
for
summons.
it only works for construction. So, say for example, someone used
Cut it out.
what?
No.
Okay.
No, like if you
And say
activate-
for example, somebody used different dimension in return. What different dimension return does is it takes a card from a banish zone. So this is used to build the card to resummon it. Any spell card that is used to summon another card is negated rather instead. If the monster is successfully summoned, then Solemn Warning cannot be activated. You have to activate Solemn Warning in response to the spell card rather than in response to the special summon of the monster.
Yeah,
even though it does kill the monster.
Yeah.
pretty much.
And then lastly, tokens.
Tokens are the most retarded cards. Any token can be anything. However, tokens can become absolutely powerful or completely weak and worthless. For example, there is a card named Gore's Emissary of Darkness. Gore's, whenever you have no cards on the field and take battle damage or take card effect damage, you can choose either of his effects, but both of them let you put a token on the field that has attack equal to
Attack and defense equal to the damage you took.
yes, and it has 7 stars. So imagine just a token, but it has the same number of stars as Gore's and has attack and defense of whatever you took. For example, if you took a Phantom King High Ride, you would have a 15/15 token.
Even though tokens can't be used for Xyz summon. Because with Xyz, the monsters are on the field and they go for materials. With Xyz, the materials aren't on the field anymore. They're behind the card.
However, if you had a 10-star tuner that required only 2 monsters to summon, you could use these 2. Tokens do not go to the graveyard.
Synchro.
Tokens are used to go back to the bottom of the extra deck.
That,
They don't really have a place, really.
it says this
Tokens do not have a place.
yeah, because at the bottom it says this card cannot be used in a deck. So
you just keep them around with you if you have effects that say summon a token.
most people just keep them on the bottom of the extra deck because it's the easiest place to remember.
I just keep it next to the extra deck.
Yeah. So that's all for the cards.
For the playmat.
For the playmat, here we have a area called the deck zone. This is where you keep your deck. So if I want to put my deck here, like this is where you have your deck at all times. You can pick it up to shuffle it or have your opponent shuffle it, but usually it just stays there unless you search for a card. Monsters. You can only have 5 monsters in the monster zones, and that's basically it for the monsters. Spell and trap cards zones. Trap cards, as we said earlier, have to stay face down, while spell cards you can activate straight from your hand.
Or you can set that.
Trap cards are set face down and must go through a complete end phase to be activated.
Next off, we have the extra deck zone. It's where you keep the extra deck cards. Normally people leave it face down, but some people that we know like to leave it face up.
Show off all that wasted money.
Pretty much.
because Moonlight Rose Dragon, $9. I want to show it off.
Show off all that wasted money.
Of course.
Then we have, as we already explained, the field spell zone. It's where we keep the field spell. So the field spells have their own special zone and don't have to go in the spell and trap zone. They go here.
Yeah.
Because they work for both players.
Then let's say you have this monster with 1500 attack, and your opponent has this monster with 1900 attack. Their monster attacks yours, destroying it. You would take life point damage equal to the difference. And where would your monster go? It doesn't stay on the field. It goes to this place that we call the graveyard.
Where spell cards are used for tombstones.
Why do you think Call of the Haunted is like that?
Oh, you're writing them down.
So, Call of the Haunted, this card specifically says that when this card is activated, target one monster in your graveyard to special summon that target onto the field from the graveyard. Then there's one other place that isn't on a playmat that normally would take place next to the playmat. It's called the Banish Zone. If an effect banishes a monster,
Soul Release.
It's basically been removed away from the game. It's completely gone.
but
Unless you're on a banishing deck like I do.
there are certain cards that can bring them back, such as Necroface if
Or
you summon
different dimension return.
Or The Shining.
There you go. DDR.
it. Or DDR.
Yeah, that it's Call of the Haunted for the Banish Zone.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's not a trap.
So that's all that we have for the field.
Now we go through turn phases.
Turn phases. So first phase that you have is draw phase. Draw phase is you have your deck here. You would start off with 5 cards
At the beginning of the duel
at the beginning of the duel.
with 8,000 life
And
points.
The first turn, you do not take you do not draw, but
Yeah,
the second
yeah.
turn afterwards, you can start drawing cards. So like I would draw this card next during my draw phase. Then as soon as the draw phase ends, you go on to your standby phase.
The most worthless phase of them all.
Generally, your standby phase does not matter unless a card effect talks about it. However,
Build Sarcophagus.
cards can be activated such as trap cards can be activated during the standby phase. Other cards that can be activated are quick play spell cards. After the standby phase, we have main phase 1. This is whenever you can summon monsters, activate spell or trap cards, set spell or trap cards in a face down position, and activate monster effects.
And your,
After
opponent, and your opponent can activate things if needed.
After
Your
main
opponent
phase
can
1
activate
is battle
quick
phase.
play spell cards and trap cards.
Battle phase is when monsters would face off. So say this monster right here is your monster and this is your opponent's monster. If they're both in attack mode, then you would attack it. This would be destroyed if it has less attack points, and then you would take the difference to your life points.
Say it's in defense.
If it's in defense and you attack it, if the defense is lower than your attack, it would be destroyed. If the defense is higher than your attack, then you would take life point damage, but your monster wouldn't be destroyed.
But if your defense position monster was destroyed, you don't take difference in life points.
Unless stated. With piercing damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you can take piercing damage though.
Then after the battle phase is main phase 2.
This is whenever you've activated some of your trap or spell cards during battle and have decided to set some more down and face down or activate some more for the second part of the turn.
Or if unnecessary, just after battle phase pass and end your turn.
After main phase 2, you enter your end phase. This is whenever cards such as Swords Revealing Light.
The next useless phase.
The end phase is useful for the fact that it allows the opponent a trigger to activate quick play spell cards and
Trap cards.
allows them to activate trap cards as well.
Or generally just...
After the end phase, you switch to your opponent's turn and then they begin their draw phase.
And you can
their
change
turn.
anything. And you can change...
At the draw phase, you're able to chain trap cards such as Macrocosmos, which is extremely annoying.
Probably not that one.
Breakthrough skills,
skill.
probably not, unless somebody activates a quick effect. Call of the Haunted could be activated to get a monster on the field before your turn really starts.
Unless macro is placed first field.
Aqua Mirror Cycle.
First turn. First turn macro or defissure is always
To
awesome.
throw cards back into your hand.
So
from
the
your
most
graveyard.
important part of the game is probably going to be the battle phase. This is when all the damage is dealt, and you see who wins the game.
Unless you're playing
There
against
are
a bird.
very few cards in the realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! That burns your opponent, which is another term for using spell card effects, trap card effects, or monster card effects to hurt your opponent's life points without having to do anything. For example, Ukazi caused 800 life point damage to your opponent. Gaga Cowboy, when it is in defense position, if you remove a material, you get
There we
to
go.
you get to take away life points. There are other cards that simply win you the game if you have it on the field.
So
These cards are known as annoying.
Exodia is annoying. It's
We
just
like
hard
to
do.
get them off of the field as soon as possible. Cards like Soul Taker prove quite nice for these, especially since they only get 1,000 life points and you don't die.
So, cards that would win you the game by effects would be the 5 pieces of Exodia. Once you collected the left arm of the Forbidden One, the right arm of the Forbidden One, the left leg of the Forbidden One, the right leg of the Forbidden One, and Exodia the Forbidden One, you win the duel.
So pretty much all
They
the
must
most
all be in your
important
hand.
members of the
If
body.
any of them are in your graveyard or on the field, you cannot win.
They all have to
Hopefully
be-
you have compulsory activation if you just happen to have to summon one of those.
Another one would be this card right here, number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Leo. This card states that once per turn, if you have no cards in your spell and trap zone, you can detach one material from this card and place a counter on it. When it gets 3 counters, you win the duel.
Match winners.
And it has 3 materials on it, so that's why it has to be 3 counters.
However, using cards like XYZ Override allow you to detach materials anyway, or not detach materials, rather just use XYZ Override to activate the effect.
Oh, and also, Leo, the C88 version of Leo is more annoying because it also wins the game, but it leaves a larger gap. When you can detach a material to inflict 1,000 life points to your opponent, and when they have 2,000 or less life points and this has no materials, you win. So basically, you have a 2,000 life point barrier between you and winning. It's kind of annoying, but I love it, considering it is my card.
So,
XYZ cards function in the detached way. You must first summon XYZ monsters with the stated material. For example, if it says you must put 2 level 4 monsters, then you'd have to put 2 level 4 monsters. Then, during your main phase, or unless the card says differently, you may detach XYZ materials, however many the effect states, to the graveyard and activate the effect. For example, on Silent Honor of Arc, we're going to pretend that when you detach 2 materials, it gains 2,000 attack, putting it at 4,100. This proves quite nice whenever you're fighting a Blue Eyes White Dragon.
we all know that Silent Honor Arc's effect does not actually do that. Silent Honor Arc's effect is to detach 2 materials to take your opponent's monster
That is
as a
Excalibur's
material.
effect.
That is Excalibur's effect.
Oof, wait. Give me a sec. BLS.
BLS.
Take BLS.
BLS is summoned by sending 2 cards from your graveyard to the banish zone, 1 light, 1 dark. They must be equal, however, in number.
There are effects like these that you have to summon certain cards. Then we have Synchro Summoning. synchro summoning, you have to have two monsters on the field, one tuner, one non-tuner. We've already been through this, but we're going to restate it. To do this, they have to have the same level, and then you can summon the monster by tributing those two monsters.
Some synchro monsters have effects that trigger whenever they're summoned. If a counter card is used whenever they're summoned, then they are not. Then the effect does not occur. However, if someone used, for example, Bottomless Trap Hole, the effect would still trigger because the monster is being summoned for them to activate Bottomless Trap Hole in the first place. Bottomless Trap Hole banishes a monster with 1500 attack or more when it is summoned. It destroys and vanishes. So if the card says cannot be destroyed, Bottomless Trap Hole does not work.
But you can activate Breakthrough Skill and negate the effect.
This is
So,
true
yeah.
as well.
When you summon, say for instance, Black Rose Dragon, its effect states that when it's summoned, you can nuke the whole field, which everyone loves doing. But if you activate Breakthrough Skill, that effect doesn't work. It's just negated, and you have a monster on the field at that point.
But it does a 2400 attack, which is quite nice.
What pussy?
So, I believe
to bleep that out.
I believe that's all we have for today. We'll be back with another video soon. Go check out the channel and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Share.